new documents out from Exxon Mobil Corporation that goes back 4 decades. Harvard study on it, peer-reviewed, and boy, it's got some interesting findings. So let's go to HuffPost that summarizes it. Exxon Mobil Corporation apparently deliberately deceived the public about the dangers of climate change for 4 decades, a new Harvard University study finds. So they go on to explain the details. For the peer-reviewed study published in the journal Environmental Research Letters Wednesday, 2 Harvard researchers analyzed 200 documents related to Exxon Mobil's climate change communications. The researchers found that America's largest oil producer had repeatedly made, quote, explicit factual misrepresentations about global warming in advertisements aimed at the general public, while simultaneously acknowledging its risks behind closed doors. So credit to the Exxon Mobil scientists actually, because they study climate change. They report back to their bosses, yes, it exists, yes, it's man-made, yes, it could have devastating consequences. Those executives received that research and go, thank you very much, we really appreciate it. Now, could you go ahead and deposit that in the garbage while you're on your way out? Now, let's run ads telling the American people how climate change is no big deal, it might not exist, but you just got the research. Who cares? It affects my bottom line. Look, besides which, climate change, Exxon Mobil doesn't bear the costs. You bear the costs. They get the profits, you get all the costs. The whole world does. So, more details. The discrepancy, researchers said, was staggering. About 80% of Exxon Mobil's research and internal memos acknowledged that climate change was real and caused by humans. However, 80% of the company's newspaper ads regarding climate change questioned this fact, the study found. So, Exxon Mobil, when asked for a comment, it was, oh, outrageous, how dare they? One of their excuses was, they cherry-picked evidence. No, when you have 80% in both directions, that's not cherry-picking, that's the overwhelming majority. 80% of your research said, yes, it is man-made, and partly because of these fossil fuels that you're burning. Okay, and then 80% of your ads said the exact opposite. Oh, I don't know, man-made, maybe, maybe not. Probably not, whatever you do, don't do it. This doesn't even include all of the grotesque lobbying and legalized bribery that Exxon Mobil and all the other fossil fuel companies did in buying our politicians and saying, oh, go out there and go on TV, let alone the think tanks, and go out there in the Senate and Congress, tell people climate change is real, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. Hurricane Harvey's gonna hit Texas this week and is set to hit Exxon Mobil refineries. What happened? I thought it was a hoax. Well, batten down the hatches because that hoax is headed in your direction over the weekend. So I hope nobody gets hurt, but I'm not gonna shed a tear if those refineries get hammered by the climate change that they knew was on its way, and when it affected everyone else, they didn't care at all. So how long has Exxon Mobil been doing this deceit? Well, an internal Exxon Mobil memo in 1979, for instance, acknowledged a possible link between fossil fuel combustion and an increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide. Another memo from 1982 described the potentially catastrophic events that could arise from climate change, such as the melting of the Antarctic ice sheet, which, by the way, is happening right now. That's not in the future, it's happening right now, today. Now, back then, I didn't even believe in climate change, partly because these guys paid all those people to lie to us over and over again. Their ads, their lobbyists, their senators, their think tanks, because they made so much money from that lie. But at the same time, while they had confused us, and there would later be overwhelming evidence, 9 of the 10 hottest years on record were in the last 10 years, and on and on and on. Every record, almost every month last year, we broke a record for the hottest month ever in recorded history for that month. And now the evidence is overwhelming. But they knew it all the way back in 1982. They told their executives this will have catastrophic consequences. And the executives were like, wait, let me get this right. Does it have catastrophic consequences for my bonus in this year, in the next couple of years while I'm at Exxon? Oh, it doesn't. Well, I'll continue to stuff those profits into my jowls. And hey, scientists, who pays the cost? Do I pay the cost? No, I don't. The whole world does. Perfect. Privatize the gains, socialize the costs. They knew all along. They knew better than we did. The only other person that in 79 and 82 was sounding the alarm bell is probably Al Gore. They might have known even before Al Gore. A peer-reviewed study conducted by Exxon Mobil scientists in the 1990s concluded, quote, the body of evidence now points towards a discernible human influence on global climate. Another one from 2002 found that limiting atmospheric carbon dioxide levels could be needed to, quote, forestall coral reef bleaching, thermohaline circulation shutdown, and sea level rise. When they did an Inconvenient Truth and now an Inconvenient Sequel is out, and in Inconvenient Truth they talked about the rising sea levels, and conservatives partly paid off by Exxon Mobil were like, oh, come on, sea level rise, that's not gonna happen. In reality, they knew decades earlier. In 2002, they already had their own scientists saying, oh, no, sea levels will definitely rise. Catastrophic consequences, enjoy that. Anyway, and the executives look at it and go, oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to make millions of dollars. And all of those problems, sea levels rising, cities being destroyed, extreme weather events that hit people that kill hundreds of thousands of people. And that is documented fact as well. There are peer-reviewed studies on that. Hundreds of thousands of people dead. Well, it's not my problem, I gotta make millions of dollars. I work at Exxon Mobil, it's okay. They're not that powerful anymore, Exxon Mobil, right? Oh no, right, their CEO is now the Secretary of State and helped to kill the Paris Climate Accord, which would have done something about climate change. They're still in charge, they're still lying, they're still deceiving all of us. So now here's what the ads said at the same time that they were getting research saying, yes, climate change is real, yes, it's caused by humans, yes, it's gonna be catastrophic. In their ads, they said, it's, quote, too uncertain to mandate a plan of action that could plunge economies into turmoil. Too uncertain, when in fact they knew with great certainty that it was happening. Here's another ad quoted as unsettled science, when in reality their own scientists concurred that it was completely settled. They have lied to all of us. They've lied for their own profits, and they're gonna make you pay the price. Look, when your product has a side effect or a consequence, whether it's a drug or it's polluting into a river, we wanna make sure that the kids that are taking those drugs or that are swimming in those rivers don't pay the price, you pay the price. These guys have put price on all of our heads throughout all of the world, and they knew it, and they did it brazenly, and they did it for profit in the short term for themselves. I want the money back. They took all that money home, but they put all the costs on us, and the costs are now in the billions, perhaps trillions of dollars. So where's our money? You put the costs into it. I didn't do it. Hey, did you gain from Exxon Mobil's profits? I didn't gain from it. Did you gain from it? None of us gained from it. Only they gained from it. And they knew they were lying to us the whole time. Give us the goddamn money back. At least let us begin to fix the mess you created and that you knew you were creating. They have their spokesperson come out and say, our statements have been consistent with our understanding of climate science. Notice it doesn't say our scientists' understanding of climate science. It says just as our understanding. Our executives understood that they were gonna make a lot of money and that they were gonna put all the costs on you and your families. Ha ha, oh yeah, your evidence is 80%. That's cherry picked. No, 20% would be cherry picked, 2% would be cherry picked, 80% is overwhelming. Now, luckily, some people are finally beginning to take action. Last month, 3 communities in California sued 37 oil, gas, and coal companies, including Exxon Mobil, Shell, and Chevron, for their alleged contributions to sea level rise and for concealing the hazards posed by global warming. Damn straight, just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg, if you will, because these guys have damned us all. They've heated up the planet for their momentary profit, and they ran amok and they did it on purpose. At a bare minimum, we should get all of their profits back, not so that you redistribute the wealth, so that you actually pay for the costs they created. They redistributed the wealth. They put it in their pockets and they made you pay for it. It's time to get it back. These suits against these oil companies is just the beginning. And it's not a matter of retribution. It's a matter of justice. Why should we pay for your costs when you all got rich and knew you were destroying the planet? And then when Hurricane Harvey hits over the weekend, Exxon Mobil refineries, they'll cry and cry. Nah, man, no, it's time to get up and fight back. So, and now they got us out of the Paris Climate Accord and they won't do anything to fix what they started. We should sue them to oblivion, let alone the political consequences. Every Republican and some corporate Democrats that pretend that climate change isn't real or we shouldn't do anything about them, vote them all out, vote them all out. And the next time a hurricane hits you in Texas or Oklahoma, guess who did it? These guys did it, they did it. It's not that hurricanes didn't exist before, they are much more severe now. Look into the science. And if you don't believe the so-called liberal media science, look at Exxon Mobil's science. They knew it. Their scientists knew it all along. They lied to you, they tricked you, and they're still doing it today. Watch the Young Turks commercial-free, download it or stream it, watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.